The whole neighborhood said he was lost. After his eldest son died in a motorcycle accident, Mr. Elias, known as the most generous man in the small town, locked himself inside his house and was never seen at church again. Every Sunday, the pew where he used to sit, in the third row on the left, remained empty. His wife tried to keep up appearances, but her eyes told another story. Eyes tired from praying, yet still full of hope. Those looking from outside could not imagine the hurricane that had struck that faithful family, nor the emptiness that mourning had left behind. But what no one knew was that God was already working behind the scenes, preparing an answer to a prayer made through tears when no one else was watching. It was a rainy afternoon when little Noah, a 9-year-old boy from Sunday school, decided he would bring a drawing to Mr. Elias. He had drawn a heart with a cross in the center and written, "God still loves you." The teacher smiled but tried to dissuade him. Maybe it's better to leave it for another day. But Noah didn't listen. He ran through the wet streets, climbed the steps of the old porch, and rang the doorbell. Mr. Elias didn't open, but Noah didn't give up. He slipped the folded drawing into the door gap, protected by plastic, and ran back. What he didn't know was that on the other side of the door, Elias was sitting on the floor, head in his hands, asking God for a sign. Anything, any answer. And it was right there, at that moment, that he saw the paper under the door. That very night, Elias showed up at the service, wet from the rain, unshaven, eyes teary. He said nothing, just walked to the altar and knelt down. There was no music playing, no sermon, just the sound of a broken man surrendering once again to a God he already knew, but had drifted away from in pain. When he finished praying, he rose with a new sparkle in his eyes, like someone who had been rescued from the depths. And with him, the whole church wept. The pastor, unable to contain his emotion, simply said, "God answers even the quietest whispers." And everyone knew a miracle had happened. Months passed, and Elias became the man who inspired others again, not by hiding his pain, but by speaking about it honestly. He created a support group for grieving parents, took children to Christian camps, and every Sunday shared the testimony of how God used a small drawing to bring him back. Noah became his inseparable friend, and the church, which had once been silent in the face of Elias's pain, now stood up to say that God truly turns mourning into dancing. It was impossible to hear that story and not be moved, because when everything seems lost, God can even use a child's drawing to heal a heart. In the end, Elias used to repeat a Bible verse that became the motto of his life. "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." Psalm 30:5. The verse Elias repeated so often, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning," was not just beautiful to him, it was real. He had lived this psalm in the flesh. The weeping of the night was not a distant metaphor. It was the suffocating silence of the early mornings when he screamed to the sky and no one answered. It was the wet pillow, the memories that cut deeper than a knife, the sound of the phone that would never ring again with his son's voice. But the promise of joy in the morning came, not as an explosion, but as a ray of light piercing the darkness, shy at first, but steady. God did not erase Elias's pain, but walked with him through it. And that is the true power of Psalm 35. It does not deny suffering. It acknowledges it. But it points to hope. The joy that comes in the morning is Jesus. It is the assurance that God never abandons his children, even when everything around seems to collapse. It is the reminder that no tear is wasted, and that, in due time, God's grace transforms despair into praise. If you like this video, please like and share it with those who need to hear this message. Subscribe to our channel to receive daily stories of faith and hope that will strengthen your spiritual life.